wouldn't say, I'm celestial by the way, but I wouldn't say this, what's that? A moth? A dead moth. Anyway, I noticed even that. So, I wouldn't say this was a dream because I don't think I was sleeping, but you know when you have a meditation that is a dream? Maybe I was sleeping, I don't know. It was kind of like neither. In between. Not controlling what came to my mind, but it definitely was immersive like a dream. So, not real at all. Which is great, because what I'm about to tell you, guess what? It can't be real, because that would be crazy. And not good if I would tell you if it were true, but obviously it was like a dream or a meditation, so it doesn't matter if I tell you, because it doesn't mean anything. It was just super interesting, so you get to know. You know. Okay. So, how does it start? And it's weird. It's weird that I feel like I'm talking about Taylor Swift a lot. Because I feel like it's weird. Because I'm like, okay, like why, what, am I gonna make another YouTube video about the same person again? You know what I mean? Like it's weird. But also you don't choose your like dreams or where your meditations go anyway, and if it's super interesting, it's like, why wouldn't you talk about it? Anyway, so I had this, okay, so I guess like backstory about like the real life, like things that influence this dream to, or meditation to where it felt more like real, okay? So Taylor Swift just finished the Eras tour, like the tour around the whole world, and there also happened to be a bone found like near her house in Rhode Island. So, and they said it was probably like a person's like leg. So, like, you know, that's what they said it probably was. But the news article was super weird. They were like, yeah, like, they interviewed neighbors. They were like, yeah, like, it's probably 2 football fields away from her house that this entire thing occurred, and that's why it has nothing to do with her, but it definitely happened. Like, it was like it definitely happened, but like 2 football fields away, specifically, so that you can say, like, it's not your fault that people know. Like, it's weird, right? So, traveling, so anyway, you can already kind of see like where the dream meditation is going, right? Or like how it went. So influenced by, okay, like this entire like world tour, so it's like she's traveling like across the whole planet every night or every day or every like 2 days, right? Like for multiple years, just non-stop. And the bone. And the person she's been associated with, who she has called her twin flame, right? Maddie Healy. Well, you know, he's also a performer, but he also eats like raw meat on stage. Like, it's like a steak. You can tell it's a steak because it still has a bone attached to it, but it's supposed to kind of be like, hey, like, you think what I'm doing is weird? You know what I mean? It's almost like he's saying like that he would do something you wouldn't do when it comes to like physical consumption of raw meat. which is already disturbing like crazy. Anyway, so, or like that's what it feels like. Anyway, so then, of course, the actual dream that I had was that every night on the Eras tour. Okay. So the actual dream was that most of the songs were written by ghostwriters. So if you don't know what a ghostwriter is, which you probably do, but if you don't, it's a writer who's paid to secretly do it and put somebody else's name attached to it and take 0 credit. So that's what that is. So most celebrities that have a book coming out, it says they're the only writer. They got like, they just have like a room of like 90 like ghostwriters who all just like wrote the whole thing, you know, over the course of like 3 months or something, probably, right? Yeah. And the celebrity was told like a little rundown of like, okay, well, what's in the book? Like, they don't even know. They didn't even tell somebody like, I want this and that in there. Maybe they have like one accomplishment they want in there, you know, like one childhood memory that's like real. They don't care. They're just making like $10 million after they pay off everybody who's supposed to be quiet about it. So they're, compared to what it sells for, is probably selling for like a lot more than that, right? Like, but they have to just pay off a bunch of people who are under an NDA, so they have to like not tell anyone. So yeah, a ghostwriter just doesn't take any credit, but that's what they're paid for, so it doesn't really matter to them because they get to like put their work out even though they don't choose what it's about, and they still get paid for it, which is better than what like most writers would get, which is like $0, all the humiliation and $0, you know. So and they don't have to have their name attached to it, so if it's bad, they don't even care. They just get millions of dollars for it and paid even more just to be quiet. So the dream was that all of her songs are just written by ghostwriters, and one thing that kind of inspired me to think that, like outside of like the dream, is in the Fortnite music video. Well, the whole thing is called The Tortures, or The Tortured Poets Department, right? Like the whole album. So it's like, why are there poets that are tortured if everything is like what's actually true about what's going on? So, and there's a scene where there are a whole bunch of people in like old-fashioned outfits. They're like, but you can't see who they are because they're wearing like this black mask over their whole face, which at first glance looks racist, but what's a ghost? It's a part of yourself that you can't recognize, a part of yourself you can't get into, a part of yourself that is like closed off and unknown to you, as far as like to the soul, like, or to your spirit. Like, what is a ghost? Like, it's still a part of you, but it's like you can't see this part of you. It's a blind spot. So a ghost can be like a blind spot to you. So which is kind of a stretch, but I kind of made that up, but it's probably true. Maybe not. So like just the part of like a ghost, possibly meaning that. So the Fortnite music video, it just looks like she's sitting there with, I don't know, like I don't know, like a bunch of ghostwriters right there, like all of the people. I think I was gonna say, or I don't know if I said it, at first glance it kind of looks racist, because it's like, what is that supposed to mean? But then if you look at it more clearly, more carefully, they look like ghostwriters, because they just look like it, because they look like like combining the idea of like a ghost in representation with what a ghostwriter would do. They're sitting at a typewriter not saying anything, just writing endlessly, and it's like she's writing simultaneously, but she only writes like I love you or whatever on the keyboard, and they're just like typing tirelessly at the keyboard, right? And like one lyric in the song is I love you, it's ruining my life, so it's like hypothetically like what if that's like the most that she really writes for it, because that's not her actual job, is where the rest of the dream went. But of course separate from just, you know, what the music video looks like. The actual dream that I had was that the job that she looks like she has is just a cover for the job she actually has, which is like more illegal, which is why she can't say it. Like if she just says she's like a recording artist, travels around the world, like okay, there's fans, right? You know. Anyway, I don't know. It was an interesting dream, but it was creepy. So, yeah, anyway, in the dream, her actual job was to distribute human skeletons across the planet. Only the skeleton, from one place to another. You know? So, just a weird dream, but it was definitely creepy. It was more so like, you know, the dream wasn't like, oh, on the outside she would look different to us than she currently does. It was more so like, she would, like, in the dream she looked exactly the same, not just physically, but like her entire career looked the same, because it was more so like, don't tell anybody, because then she would be arrested. It was super like realistic, because it was like, oh, like you have to just be careful about it, not tell anyone unless they're like Sabrina Carpenter, she can know because she's on tour too, like with you, whatever. She probably got pulled into the same thing. It was so detailed that it was like at the point where Sabrina Carpenter is seen on stage with Taylor Swift, it's supposed to be, not that it's like the first time they've been associated together, but that was the first, that like in the dream that was supposed to be the tipping point to where Sabrina Carpenter's being officially announced as joining Taylor Swift in this endeavor of distributing the human skeletons. So it was like the tour is like the daytime job essentially, even though it happens at night, it's like that's like the daytime job, and then it's like she would have to be the person to like deliver them. The only thing that didn't make sense to me is like the size of like the private jet, and like how many could you really fit, but also I guess if it's every single day and you're in a different city, I don't know how many would fit there. I mean, I know they're not small, but I'm saying like to make it even seem worth it, like what? I don't know. So the part of the dream I would kind of critique and be like, I don't know if that seems realistic, like how many would really fit on a private jet per day to make it even like worth it, right? Like, but then again, the whole part of the dream that matches up to like Taylor Swift feeling like her like pop star life is like threatened and possibly taken away. It wasn't that, it was that she was afraid that the human skeleton job was going to be taken away because she wasn't considered like ideal for it that much, but she was like the most famous one that they had, so the best excuse that they had. Is there anything else that I'm thinking, like, was there anything else that I thought of in the dream? Like, I don't know. Oh, so I guess, I didn't know in the dream, like I couldn't, or meditation, like I don't know which it was, but like in the dream I couldn't really figure out at the start of her career, whether she knew what she was getting into or not, or whether it just transitioned very fast. That's what I didn't know, right? Like, I couldn't even figure that part out. Like, did she have a higher than normal proximity to being an eyewitness to this and then got forced into it, or the energy just like carried her into it? Like, I couldn't figure out in that part of the dream, like, was it like so I guess like I need to explain a little bit more. In the dream, these were being used for by billionaires or people in power, billionaires really, as some form of food. And the rest of it was considered biodegradable, so they were supposed to already know what to do with that. So that wasn't, but the only part that wasn't was the bones. Again, it was a dream, so, but I was like, that's horrifying. Obviously horrifying. Yeah. But they were expected to already know what to do with the rest of it. All of it. They were just expected to already know. So, yeah. I don't know. It was creepy. It was creepy. But essentially, back to the... I'm thirsty. I'll just like drink water after I'm done recording the video, because guess what? My cup of water is really what you're balancing on. You're balancing on the cup of water. That's crazy. 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 So obviously I can't even drink water. Anyway, so I guess the last part of the dream that I would add in, or not probably the last part, but like almost the last part. I'm almost done. 18 minutes. It's taken me so long to explain it. So I guess I would say the last part of the dream was that the bone showing up near Taylor Swift's Rhode Island place was either her... I'm like, obviously it's fine to say this because it's a dream. I was literally like, is it fine to say this? But it was a dream. It was a dream. Anyway, because it was just a dream, clearly, I could tell you, you know when you have like a lapse in like memory if it was a dream, but like it was, you know what I mean? So like, yeah. So, in the dream, the bone, either she added it herself because she's tired of that job, or, which is why I was like, oh no, should I say that? But then I was like, but it's a dream. But it seemed so like emotional, of like she was afraid of like losing the job in the dream. So, of that. So, because they didn't consider her like ideal for it because she wasn't their usual candidate. It was so specific, so realistic. So realistic, but obviously doesn't make sense, obviously not real. Anyway, or somebody specifically doing that because they either felt threatened, wanted to replace her, or because what was the other one? Or because somebody wanted to like be threatening towards her job and be like, oh, you didn't do whatever we asked for, whatever, and then, oh, does that scare you? You know what I mean? Like that. Anyway, that's the entire dream / meditation. It wasn't real, but it was weird. So, I don't know, I hope you guys like this. I'm just thinking about how I was not planning to talk about this, but that's a crazy story to not tell you. So, here we go. I love you guys, bye.